And that brings me to the most important lesson that I could possibly give you guys on business.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
So after being in business for about 4 years now, I was sitting there thinking about what is my biggest regret? What is my biggest failure in my 4 years in business? What got me thinking on this subject, because you guys know I don't like to spend a lot of time on the negativity. There's a lot you can learn from it, but you don't want to just obsess over it. You want to learn from it, move on, right? And one thing that I noticed, because we're getting ready to move, we're about to downsize majorly, like 50% in terms of square footage to our new home. And that brings me to the most important lesson that I could possibly give you guys on business, which is regardless if you're starting your business or you're in that early stage, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, probably even, 10 years, your first 5-10 years in business, please take it from me. Keep your lifestyle minimal as long as possible. And we can go over the exact math and data to back up what I'm saying. So if you've been in business for over a full year, maybe 2, and you have a technician, or you've had maybe a 1099 guy, something of that nature, or even if it's just you, if you've been in business over 1 year, I want you to pull your actual profit loss statement and break down in terms of percentages where all of your money is going. Because the longer you're in business, the more that you grow, the more that you have to pay in terms of employee costs, payroll tax, all of these type of taxes, and making sure everyone's happy, right? By the time you end up squeezing that every little dollar of your business, if you're actually trying to grow, invest in marketing like we do with Google Ads and SEO, things of that nature, you're only going to see upwards of, a bare minimum of about, 10% to a maximum of about 20 to maybe 30% in terms of your sales. So say you're doing, we'll just say $200,000 in sales, right? You're getting to that level where you're hiring that first employee like we are. And, you want to pay them a decent salary, decent salary nowadays, is upwards of 20, 25. Some companies are even paying now 30% in terms of a salary, in terms of the production and all that type of stuff. By the time you break down all those percentages, like I said, you're going to be lucky if you can walk away with north of 20% of your sales. So say you're doing, again, $200,000 in sales, you're only going to be looking at bringing home about $40,000 a year for you, your household. Now, again, I should have probably prefaced this whole video with, this is for those of you that are looking to grow. Hence why I was talking about investing in marketing and things of that nature, these ongoing costs that are, upwards of usually 10 to 20% of your actual money that you're, able to spend, regardless if you're taking it out of the business for yourself, investing into marketing, investing into equipment, bonuses, raises, whatever the case may be. There's a little bit of wiggle room there, 10, 15% in terms of, if you don't want to invest in marketing or you don't have employees to deal with, whatever the case may be, obviously your percentage grows. And that's where I have learned a lot. We've been kind of pretty much plateaued, I would say. We've still been growing, but we haven't seen that exponential growth like we see in our first year to 18 months in business, because after that first year or so in business, I made a dumb decision to move into the house back behind me right now, and that literally squeezed the heck out of, our business's financials in terms of, we were just getting to a point to where every month we were around, $10,000 a month recurring income, not including, termite sales, exclusion sales, the new starts, things of that nature. We had some months as high as like 12 to 15, some months as low as like 8 to 10, but usually, if you were to average it out, the recurring income was around $10,000 to $12,000 a month. And with that, I made a dumb decision. I literally almost doubled our cost of living in terms of rent, utilities, all these different costs, moving to where we were, just because, for whatever reason, I thought that, wouldn't be a big deal. And it did turn out to be a big deal, because obviously whenever you're talking about going from a home that was costing us, I believe, $1,800 to $2,000 a month, all the way to a home now costing about $3,300 a month, that's $1,500 a month on your recurring income. That alone was about a 10% increase in terms of what we were having to take in terms of a draw for ourselves. And again, that doesn't include the utility costs and all these other costs. It ended up, squeezing us big time to where we weren't able to actually, I always like to say, play around, because to a certain degree, I see business as a game, right? But we weren't able to invest, I guess would be the proper terminology. Weren't able to invest as much into the advertising, the growth, all the things that we know we need to do in order to obviously continue to expand the business at that rapid rate that we were growing at. And like I said, guys, don't get me wrong. I mean, the business has still been growing steadily. Those of you that have been following the channel know that, in terms of local SEO, from that alone, we get upwards of bare minimum 15, 20 leads, upwards in the summer, 40, 50 leads a month in terms of organic leads. So the business has still been growing, but just imagine if we had never made just this simple decision of moving from the home that we were in to a much larger home that, like I said, literally increased our cost of living almost double, caused me to have to take, 10 to 15% more out of the business. Voila, there's your 10 to 15% in terms of the marketing cost alone, right? So, it made it to where we weren't able to keep an employee because the cash flow just wasn't there. Like I said, ultimately, the big thing I want you guys to take away from this is, again, the biggest mistake I made was increasing lifestyle too soon. And again, like, I wasn't out here, I'm still driving a 2019 Nissan Frontier for work. My wife has a 2020, 2021 Chrysler Voyager, not even a Chrysler Pacifica, Chrysler Voyager, because it's like the rental version of a Pacifica. So like, we keep costs relatively low, but in terms of moving to this house, this was by all means stupid on steroids. Like, I cannot stress it enough. Keep that cost of living low, low, low. If you are blessed enough to live with like some family members or have a family member that is willing to like let you even, stay with them and maybe like split rent, split utilities, whatever the case may be, do whatever it is you got to do to just minimize those expenses, because obviously the least amount that you can pay yourself, the more you're going to be able to grow your business. And like we said, in terms of the percentages, how the percentages break down is, you should be targeting ideally 20 or 25%. Like I said, again, I cannot stress enough, if you're trying to be just a one-man show, like we have been, for the most part, outside of the 1099, the W-2 we have briefly, all that stuff, if you're trying to just be a one-man show, these percentages, this video, as a matter of fact, doesn't even really, it does apply still early on, because, when you're first starting out, you obviously need to retain every dollar possible just to continue to grow until your business is at least where you want it to be, to where you can make the money you want to make as a one-man show. But in terms of those of us that want to grow, hire 1 to 2 or even 3 or 4 employees per year, we are the ones that are going to have, the more you want to grow, the more you're going to have to cut. If you want to grow just exponentially to the moon, you're probably going to be one of those businesses that makes either no money, or you're going to be taking like 5 or 10%. There's people that literally break even on their business. There's people that only pay themselves like 5% of the sales. So, it's all relative to, right? Obviously, when you're a $200,000 business, your percentage in terms of what you're paying yourself is going to be much higher than, say, you grow your business to a $5 million business, right? Because at some point, you can only pay yourself so much until it just doesn't make sense anymore, with all the taxes. And then let's be real, like, how much stuff can you really have ultimately? Obviously, you could continue to pull that out if you wish, if you want to invest it in other avenues. Obviously, there's so many different scenarios, but to me, and again, those of you that are continuing to follow my journey will be able to see kind of how this just continues to unfold for us. To me, I plan on, once we get this W-2 hired here, before long, I'll be going to, like I said, pulling out the bare minimum I have to. The goal is, early on, I'm still going to have to pull, it looks like probably at least 25 to 30%. So I'm interested to see, because like, we're getting up on the high end of that percentage, of course. I'm interested to see how that, goes. I'll keep you guys updated. But then, like I said, once the more that we continue to grow, the more we continue to hire, the more sales we're doing, I expect that percentage to keep dropping, just because, like I said, now that I have learned this lesson, which is the whole point of my YouTube channel, right? I teach you guys the good, the bad, the ugly. This is the ugly, because doing the math, I told my wife, I told my cousin who owns a pest control, pest and lawn business, I've told everyone that I talked to, moving to this house, even though we only lived here 1 year, it cost me probably 2 to 3 years if you factor in the growth lost in terms of the compound effect of growth and things of that nature. So learn from my mistakes. Like I tell you guys, don't just learn from, the success, I took the business from 0 to 6 figures the first year. Because to be honest, I see that as a failure, being that, okay, I took it to from 0 to 6 figures my first year. Why are we not at 7 at this point? We're not at 7 because, I had to pay what I like to call stupid tax, but you can call it whatever you want. Stupid tax, rookie tax, noob tax, whatever the case may be. There was no one here. I don't have like mentors or anything that were telling me like, no, don't do it. But like I said, at least I did learn from it. The final straw for me was they were about to raise the rent here $200 a month. I was like, dude, I'm not paying $3,600 a month for rent. That's just stupid. It was already stupid, but that's just even more stupid. We're actually downsizing all the way to a home that is actually $19.95 a month. The utilities look like they're going to be crazy cheap compared to where we're at now. I did the math. During summer months, we're probably going to save almost $2,500 to $3,000 a month in terms of living expenses. And in the winter months, we'll probably save anywhere between like $1,500 to $2,000. So on average, we're going to save like $2,000 a month. So, that's almost a whole salary, right? Obviously not a whole salary. Like, don't be jumping in the comments, $2,000 a month is that? No, almost a salary, right? I'm just putting it in perspective in terms of just how dumb this move was. Like, imagine if I had that $2,000 plus a month over the last year in terms of marketing, in terms of keeping the W-2 on, all this stuff, right? So, like I said, I was just sitting here thinking about it. I'm literally looking at my pod right here. We're about to get it all packed up, and actually we're moving tomorrow. It's Thursday, and I'm moving Friday. I'll probably be either moving into my house or already moved into my new house by the time you guys see this video. Like I said, what good is it for me to just post all of the good if I don't explain, how we get there? And how we get there is obviously doing the right stuff like we talk about here, but also, going through those trials, going through the turbulations, going through the days where, there were plenty of months here at this house where I was really having a penny pinch, like just keeping it 100 with you guys. Like, there were months where I had to take a loan out. Those of you that use Stripe know that you can actually take a Stripe loan out, which I actually have like a YouTube short from like a year or two ago where I was saying never take these loans. I ended up having to take one of these loans just to, one, fund this move, but also just make sure that we were, quote unquote, making it, being on the safe side. It was during winter months this past winter. And yeah, again, just sometimes you gotta learn the hard way, especially if you don't have like right people in your corner. That's where, it is ideal to have some type of mentor. If you have a mentor available in your corner, it can definitely help. Which I guess on this final point, I've had a lot of you guys all of a sudden, it seems like you guys come in batches out of the blue, who have been asking about like consultation services again and mentorship, things of that nature. Usually I would be willing to offer that. Right now, it's just such a busy stage in terms of not just business, but life, with moving and everything, that right now all of that stuff is on hold. I wouldn't be able to give you guys the proper amount of time and things of that nature to, make it worth your money, because obviously it's not free. My time is just too valuable, not to sound like, rude or anything, but of course, like, my time is worth a lot at this point. One thing you can never get back is your time at the end of the day. And another thing that I'll probably start doing with those whenever I do start accepting some people again is we'll have you guys like fill out a questionnaire, because that's another thing. I don't feel morally okay with charging someone money that either A, isn't serious. Like, I don't want to take your money if you're not serious about starting your business, taking it to the next level. But at the same time too, I also don't feel morally okay with taking money from people who are already ahead of me, right? If you think you can learn from me, just watch my stuff. That's what I always tell you guys on here. Just watch my stuff. Everything that I'm going to tell you is pretty much what I'm going to tell you here on YouTube. Occasionally there is a question that I don't think about, but for the most part, like 90% of it, you know, anything that I learn, I'm regurgitating on here to the best of my ability, unless if I just forget about it. So, you know, and my whole point about people that are ahead of me is like, you have no business paying someone like me who's at that like $200,000 level if you're already at like 500,000 or $1 million. If anything, I should be paying you to learn off of, you know, knowledge that you learned to get to that level, if that makes sense. Like, it's a moral thing for me. Like, I don't want to take people's money if I don't think I can truly add value to their business, if that makes sense. So, yeah, just wanted to hit on that real quick because I've had a couple of you guys, like I said, you all seem to come in batches. We'll go a couple months without anyone asking, and then out of the blue, I'll have like 2 to 5 of you guys just asking about that. And I know I've already consulted with 2 or 3 of you guys in the past. So, yeah, all that, like I said, is temporarily on hold. Just got too much going on in terms of the business. You know, this is the busiest time of the year for the business, of course. Those of you in Discord know I'm keeping you guys updated. I sold 2 termite jobs yesterday. I sold, well, no, I technically didn't sell, but I quoted another one that seems like they're on the fence. Seems like they definitely want to go with me, but they're trying to get over the price objection. So if we can get them over that price objection, then that'll be another one sold. I just did one this past Saturday. I forget, like, I've lost track at this point. Termites are going crazy right now in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And yeah, no, it's just, like I said, super busy stage. So all that's on hold for now. But back to the whole point video, and to wrap this up, like I said, as always, I hope you guys did learn some valuable information. If you did, do me a favor and just smash that thumbs up button. It helps YouTube know that you like this type of content, and then that way you will see my type of content. I try to post at least once a week. We try to go live once a week, ideally, as well. But of course, with it being busy season, that's kind of starting to get spread thin a little bit. So at the minimum, if I can't go live, I try to post a video like this for you guys, you know, to kind of tie us over until that next live stream. So if you liked it, smash thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe down below. If you have any questions, as always, just shout it out down in the chat box, or not chat box, was it the comment section of the YouTube video, or wherever you're seeing this video. Then I mentioned our Discord group. As always, if you're not in our totally free Discord group or Facebook group, links for that are in my LinkTree down in the description box, as well as other links that you guys could benefit from. I appreciate you guys as always. Go out there, keep crushing it, build your 6-7 figure business, and I'll see you guys in the next one.